After dropshipping relentlessly for the past 6 years, I'm about to share with you my honest thoughts and, quite frankly, concerns with the $375 billion industry that's growing 25% year over year. The first big truth is that the majority of dropshippers are lucky to make even as much money as the average 9-to-5er. And this goes against my brand entirely, I know, but I don't care because you guys deserve the truth. And if you're thinking about starting dropshipping as a complete beginner, do not be expecting to drive off in a Lamborghini or live in a penthouse anytime soon. Those of you who do have some experience with the business model, you'll know exactly why I'm saying this. You see, when I was making $100,000 a month on my first ever winning product, that first winning store, when I was just 21 years old, I thought the world was mine. I went out and bought my dream car and started taking fancy vacations and treating everybody around me, using the revenues from my ecom business. All until my business tanked because I was using stolen or copyright images across my website and in my ads, and ultimately Shopify hit me with the DMCA takedown notice and took down my entire store. I went from making about $5,000 a day to a big fat zero on my Shopify dashboard. But little did I know, this was the biggest blessing in disguise for me. As the days went by, I faced refund after refund, chargeback after chargeback, and I went from making all this money to in fact losing hundreds of dollars every single day. I even got scammed $10,000 by a supplier that I was working with, and I had already gone out and spent all my business funds on cars and nice vacations. By the end of the year, I had made about $1 million in revenue, but I had $920,000 in expenses, and the other $80,000 that was profit, I've blown through pretty much all of it. All that hard work, the past 3 years of busting my ass off, thinking that dropshipping was going to be that light at the end of the tunnel for me. For what? For $80,000 in profit that I'd already spent because I thought that I was balling? This was the slap across the face that I needed and my call back to reality. I wasn't a millionaire. I had a damn Shopify dashboard that had $1 million on it, which honestly means fucking nothing. I mean, think about it. If you're an early stage entrepreneur, a hustler, if you will, what the hell does revenue even matter? Look, I understand if you're a tech bro eating ramen noodles out of your 400 square foot apartment for the next 10 years while you build the next big Facebook and you see that revenue number climbing each year. But for the 99% of beginner entrepreneurs, what matters is simply how much money you can put in your own pocket. That is what's going to change your life, what's going to pay your family's debts, what's going to take your friends on vacations, buy your dream car. The life you actually want is about profit and retaining that profit in your pocket. You see, the common consensus right now is that there are two main types of dropshipping. Firstly, we have branded dropshipping, which is basically just running a full-fledged ecom brand, but the only difference is you're using dropshipping as the fulfillment model to save that money on inventory earlier on. And then we have what I like to call pump and dump dropshipping, which is basically just jumping on the next hot product or the next trend and making a quick bag while you can and then moving to the next. Here's the problems with both. With branded dropshipping, you're going up against some of the biggest e-commerce companies in the world. I'm talking about multi-billion-dollar corporations. To actually get your branded dropshipping store to break even or even profitable, you're going to have to relentlessly pump every cent you make straight back in your business, which means likely for at least a good couple of years, you'll have very little money to pay yourself. You might as well be eating ramen noodles from a 400 square foot apartment. This is an ultra long-term play. Most people who are successful with branded dropshipping, they look for that multi-7 or 8-figure exit 5 or 10 years down the road. Or they've simply been in the game for like 10 or 15 years and they can finally afford to take out some decent dividend payments from their business. And that's if they're lucky, because ecom is fucking competitive. And the thing is, even if you hit your core capital target in profit, you should still retain a lot of money in your business for any unforeseen circumstances that pop up. I mean, think of C-19, how many businesses shut down during this time period and how many businesses needed that profit, needed that capital sitting inside of them in order to be flexible and get with the times. Don't get me wrong, branded dropshipping is by far one of the best ways to start a business, and the sky is the limit with how high you can go, but the truth is, it's extremely difficult and far from the ideal choice as a complete beginner entrepreneur. Let me just give you a realistic profit and loss statement of what your branded dropshipping venture could look like after a year, and this is if you're lucky. So let's say your revenue is $1 million. You hit that 7-figure run rate. Your expenses probably look something like this. Fees, $20,000 to $30,000, product cost, $200,000, and that's assuming you have an 80% gross margin, which is really, really good. Ad cost, $500,000, chargebacks and refunds, $50,000, domains, apps, softwares, website costs, emails, SMS, all this other stuff I kind of grouped together, $40,000. And so when all is said and done, you may have made around $150,000 in profit, pre-tax profit, that is. So for you to be making $10K a month, that means you'd have to have consistent $100,000 screenshots on your Shopify dashboard, which, as we all know, it's hard to do, especially as a complete beginner. Now with pump and dump dropshipping, on the other hand, you are not building a long-term asset or anything that you can sell or any equity value. All you're doing is scrambling to jump onto the next hot product before other people do so you can make a quick buck. And that's not to mention that those chargebacks and refunds will probably hit you later on because you're not running your business with a long-term approach. And in saying that, customers are going to be disappointed with the user experience. You might not have a lot of control over your supply chain. A lot of issues could come up, and ultimately that's going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars in your business, which is exactly what happened to me. When all is said and done, you might have made some decent cash, but you likely did so on a razor thin profit margin, and you're screwed every time your product starts to die out. To make matters worse, the pump and dump strategy hardly works anymore because of, well, the competition. There's thousands of new dropshippers entering the market selling the exact same hot, trendy, winning products every single day. Your odds of success just fell even lower. Now, before you lose all hope in this business model, I must admit, there is a better way to go about this, especially as a beginner. You can run a dropshipping business in a really lean fashion. You just have to reverse engineer exactly what I've shown you and put profit first. You're also going to have to take a page out of the pump and dump strategy. You're going to need a product so hot, so good, that it practically sells itself and will give you an insane return on ad spend or make you money without ads altogether. If you actually want to make 6 figures a year or more in profit with dropshipping without running your entire life into the ground and causing yourself so much stress and pulling out your hair, then what you need is a competitive advantage over everybody else. And I'm going to give you that right now for each core component of dropshipping. So firstly, when it comes to choosing your product, you don't just want to use another product research software tool or ad spy tool just like everybody else, because then, like I said, you're selling the same hot products as the other thousands of people entering the market every single day. What you need to be doing is going straight to the source and peeking inside of actual fulfillment companies and seeing what products are moving the most right now. And not just the most in terms of order volume, but the most in terms of the change in order volume. So this week compared to last week, how many more orders of that particular product have been done for other stores? If the answer is thousands and thousands of orders or more, well then chances are you can hop into the perfect market at the perfect time and sell the perfect product very, very easily. Now the ways to do this is to ring up suppliers yourself. Go through Alibaba, go through AliExpress, get in contact with every single supplier you can, build a relationship, and try to peek into the back end and see what's working well for the other clients. The other option is to work with a software fulfillment center like AutoDS and try to get involved there and see what's working. And that brings me to my next point. With suppliers, so many people, when they make their first sale with dropshipping, they just don't know what to do. And then that causes a lot of confusion, a lot of overwhelm. They end up going with the wrong supplier because they're rushing, they're out of time, and then everything just falls apart and they're screwed. So you need to make sure you're working with the right supplier from the beginning. And that's why I've partnered with AutoDS to bring a special offer to all of you guys. You see, 5 years ago, I used to do all of my order fulfillment through private suppliers that I found on AliExpress. I'd reach out to them directly, negotiate the deal, and then I'd process all of the orders from a spreadsheet, sending it to them directly every single night. And this was okay, but I had no control over what they were doing. I mean, a lot of times products were showing up damaged, defective, sometimes they didn't even ship the order correctly at all. And just like I mentioned earlier, one of the suppliers that I was working with actually ran off with $10,000 of mine, which completely screwed everything, and I felt like I was back at square one. And the reason why I didn't work with, say, AutoDS back then is because at the time, these fulfillment centers were more or less just white labeling AliExpress and marking up the cost of the product. But now, AutoDS has came such a long way. I mean, they have their own warehouses where they order the cheapest product, and they've been doing this shit for like over a decade now. They know exactly how to source the cheapest products, and they'll give you the fastest shipping because they have warehouses across North America. They also have warehouses in China where they also use express logistics that sometimes take less than 7 days to arrive at a customer's house, even in the United States. And on top of that, they're triple checking for quality control before they send any order out. So you don't have to worry at all about the hassle and the headache of any of the stuff I mentioned earlier. On top of that, in one click, you can import any product onto your store. They also have 24/7 customer support, and they've really just solved all issues that comes with fulfillment in a dropshipping business. So I've been partnered with them for a while. I've always had fantastic experiences. If you guys are interested, you can use the link down below to sign up for them, to one, support me, and two, also sign up to the best place to fulfill products for your dropshipping store. Now, the next thing we need to talk about is building your website. You see, so many beginners spend so much time messing around with all the little features on their website, adding in all these urgency and scarcity tactics, but they forget the most important thing. A clean and simple website will always outperform as a beginner dropshipper because you don't have the luxury of, massive email lists and customer assets and returning customers and brand loyalty. All you need to do is simply get the customer from point A to point B as fast as possible and remove as much friction as possible. You really just need a clean landing page, high quality product photos, benefit-driven copy, and no bullshit popping up and overwhelming the customer. Just a few variants they can select. Try to put yourself in the shoes of somebody who's doom scrolling all day on social media, is exhausted from their day job or what they were doing, and they just simply got hit with your ad. They feel some type of way, some type of emotion towards it, and they want to buy that product and have it show up as quickly as possible. That is how you make the perfect store. And I'll be honest, my AI store software, it needed a lot of work to get to the conversion rates that we were hoping for. But recently, we've made tons of changes. I'll put up some screen recordings now of how the stores are actually looking. And while you still have time, it's 100% free because we are still actively making changes to this thing every single day. So make sure you head down to the description, pick up the custom built store for you guys. We'll also load it with data-backed winning products, and all of this will be prepared for you in less than 5 minutes for 100% free. Now, does that mean you don't need to do any work? Absolutely not. You'll still need to make some touch-ups. You should still go out and try to find other products to sell and import it to your store using AutoDS, and you still need to get clever and creative, of course, when it comes to the marketing. Now, with advertising, you also need a competitive advantage. You're not just going to jump into a cold Facebook ads campaign and outperform the billion-dollar companies that are spending money towards selling their product. So that's why you can do one of two things, or ideally both. The first thing is become a genius at marketing. Get so good. Absorb every piece of content that you can about how to make the perfect hooks and scripts and captivate your audience, tell a story, make an emotional connection, make them stop and want to buy the product on the spot. But the second thing that you can do is you can get TikTok ads for 50 cents on everybody else's dollar, which means that you're far more likely to actually have success and reach profitability out the gate with your new store. I'm a partner with TikTok, and they're always giving me crazy offers to share with my audience who's serious about getting started with Ecom and using their offers. So that'll be linked down below in the description. And for a limited time, TikTok will match every dollar that you put into the account and return you that in ad credits, which means that you'll have extra money at your disposal to spend and outcompete all the other dropshippers selling the exact same product. Now, there also is one other way to run a really lean dropshipping business. And this secret method, if you will, is called digital dropshipping. It's basically selling products that have zero fulfillment costs, so you don't have to pay for products, and have instant fulfillment, which means you won't have all these chargebacks and refunds and angry customers and customer support because people are getting their product right when they place the order. With digital dropshipping, I'm talking about ebooks, I'm talking about Notion templates, Canva templates, courses, paid live events, mentorships, coaching, anything that you can sell online and is not a physical product. And yes, this is still e-commerce. It's just doing it in a digital way and saving a ton of money on fulfillment, which typically is a massive chunk of your expenses. Now, I've personally made multiple 7 figures dropshipping, but also dropshipping digital products, and I'll show you how to do the exact same. I understand this is a bit of an oversimplification of this entire process, which is why what you'll see on screen now is an 8.5-hour video with a collection of everything I've learned over the past 6.5 years of being in the online space. My recommendation for you is to jump in head first, but also dive deeper and carve out a little bit of time every single day to watch these bigger guide videos that I'm putting out. Also have all the links in the description for every resource you need imaginable. I'm doing everything I can to help you guys. And look, full transparency, I'm getting paid quite handsomely for it too. I have partnerships with Shopify and TikTok, and when these companies get long-term users for their platform, hopefully you guys, I'm able to make a lot of money for providing all of this knowledge for free. With that being said, we also have a private program. If you're interested in taking things to the next level, working with our team, having us jump inside of your business and scaling you to $1,000 per day in less than 90 days guaranteed, then click the first link in the description to apply to work with the winning team. Anyways, that's all I got for the video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to go watch the next video, and I'll see you guys in a few days. Peace.